Today, we're going to be talking about how to avoid this while still getting that Dragonlance fix. Up next. What is up, everyone? This is Everything Board Games, and I'm your host for today, Paul, the Techno Funk Boy. Really appreciate you tuning in. So every year we kind of look back on the year that's happened and kind of build up the 10 things that have really influenced us this particular year. Now this year has been weird for me. If you followed these videos, you know that I've moved a couple of times in the last couple of years, and which has severely restricted what I have been able to play. But one of the things I have been playing is I'm actually running two separate Dragonlance games, one through the original modules and one through kind of a modification of the new Wizards of the Coast book, Shadows of the Dragon Queen. And so I've actually been pulling a lot of stuff from various Dragonlance sources that I kind of wanted to touch on today. I thought it'd be kind of fun. And so these are going to be the 10 things that are really actually influencing my games a lot. And it just so happens that it's been one of those years that most of what I've been looking at has been singular Dragonlance themed. All right, so if you are brand new to Dragonlance, you have no idea what's going on with it. It is one of the older worlds from Dungeons and Dragons. But the thing I'd actually suggest for you is the books. So there's a lot of Dragonlance books. The ones that you should start with are the Dragonlance Chronicles. It's the trilogy that kind of kicked things off. It was kind of a quasi novelization of the original module set, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But being written about the same time as the modules themselves, and so these books are not just good Dungeons and Dragons books, which there are a lot. These are actually just great fantasy novels, and some of my favorite. I've read them several times. I'm in the midst of rereading them again, and so this is like the honorary number 0 on the list. Just as something to tackle. If you like Chronicles, the trilogy that you go to next is Legends. And then from there, you can kind of branch out. Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman write the main thread of stories. And so they're always good to follow, but there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of really cool stuff, including Kaz the Minotaur, who we're going to get back to later. But enough about novels. Let's get into actual modules. Now, there's going to be a mix of things in here. A lot of stuff is going to be old because when it comes to Dragonlance, the old stuff is by far the best stuff. There's going to be some independent stuff that is new. Now, it's only been very recently that Wizards of the Coast has allowed anyone to publish anything Dragonlance, but there's been a few projects who have really kind of risen up in my estimation to be really high quality. The last couple of them are books that are out that I haven't been able to sink my teeth into yet, but I'm very excited about. And so none of the all of these are from my personal collection. These are kind of resources I've collected over time, and with as far as the new stuff coming out in this last year. None of it is modern Wizards of the Coast. The modern stuff is independent. The old stuff is the modules that came out before. Pretty much everything here is available, though, on like DM's Guild or Drive Through RPG. And I'll do my best to provide some links for those who are interested in the description. So first thing is first. The original modules came out, and there were one of the things that kind of set Dragonlance apart, especially when it first came out, was that it was the size of it. In the first story, covers or goes over 12 different modules, and that you can get these individually, still on PDF through Drive-Thru RPG. They're also collected in these classics editions. These are a bit cheaper. You get 4 of them at the same time. It cuts out a little bit of it, but not a lot. It's mostly just kind of the flavor of it, and so you'd be fine. I've really enjoyed the classics version of it. This adventure is I'm still taking my party through it all, and has been a load of fun. With something this size, there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, and there's some definitely lows in here. But the highs are some of the best dungeons I've ever played, and I've so with some of the best characters and the best situations. I've really enjoyed my time here. This originally came out in first and second edition. More stuff that came out in second edition is my favorite of the world source books, which is Dragonlands Adventures. Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman did this one themselves. This one is one of the best collections of just information about the world of Kren and the people that inhabit it, the history of it, the gods, some great stuff in there. You don't absolutely need this in order to play the game, but it is really handy, and is something that I've gone back to over and over again. The other thing I want to highlight is one of the original Dragonlance series of modules, but this one's called the World of Kren. Dragonlance is huge. It's a lot to chew on. The World of Kren actually provides some short adventures, and I think there's 4 in here that are really good and just kind of gives much shorter, dungeons to go through without investing in the massively large plot of Dragonlance. All right, so I think we're going to leave first and second edition, go over to third edition. Now, in the third edition, they did basically take those original modules and put out 3 new books, resetting that same adventure in the third edition world. And these are excellent. First of all, if you've ever tried to read a first and second edition module, it's very hard. Small text, very thin columns, and it is tough. Just the reformatting of it is actually really helpful, but they do add and shift things a little bit with just things they've learned over the years, or something that they think they can insert a little bit more into, or something that just didn't work out quite right the first time. The changes that they make in this are mostly really good. And so what I've typically done is I've read both versions of it and kind of pick and 95% of the time they're all the same path. But when they're not, I kind of pick the path that is more interesting to me. And I think that has really helped kind of spur things on. So the first of these is Dragons of Autumn, then Dragons of Winter, Dragons of Spring. So there's the collections, 3 book collections, kind of like the classics, where they've taken all these old modules and put it into 3 different volumes. All right, with that, let's start heading into modern 5th edition days. Like I said before, these are all going to be independent groups or authors that are putting together something on their own. The first one, and we're going to see a lot of Dragonlance Nexus. Dragonlance Nexus has been for as long as I can remember. I'm sure that they have an origin date on their website, but Dragonlance Nexus has been one of the foremost places to get Dragonlance information on the web. I've used it for absolute years, and they've jumped on the opportunity to actually write their own adventures, write their own books. Tasselhoff's Pouches of Everything is the first one, and this is going to be a source book for the land of Kren, kind of like Dragonlands Adventures was for first and second edition. But this is going to be for the 5th edition world. It is there's some really fantastic stuff in here. Even like I use the trinkets table out of this, which I believe they call, Kinder's Pouches, or forgive me, I forgot it, because they don't have one in here, which is ridiculous, because if there's ever been a group of people who need a trinkets table, it's the Kinder. If you're new to Dragonlance, read those books and you'll understand within a couple of chapters. Honestly, read the Dragonlance Chronicles. Tasselhoff Pouches of Everything has been a great resource for me, and absolutely recommend it. Again, Dragonlance Nexus is taking their stab at that Chronicles plot. With Autumn Twilight. All right, so Autumn Twilight is taking that first volume, those that I think it's the first 4 or 5 of the modules, and translating into 5th edition. Now, this is not a complete rewrite. This isn't a redo. What this is doing is it's actually taking those original modules, which you will need, and putting 5th edition stats on them. And so if you're in the original module and you're like, oh, okay, I'm in room basement 3, there's some monster in here, jump over to this book, and it'll give you the 5th edition equivalent of it. And so it's going to take all those magical items and basically update them into 5th edition. And so while I would have preferred a complete rewrite so that you're not like balancing multiple books, it does a really good job for what it's doing, and it's really helpful for those of you who are interested in running that original story, because this one is not very good. It's just not. I'm going to do a full review of it at some point. The more I play it, the more I run it, the more disappointed I am in it. And the more I appreciate the original story. So I do think that if you're going to take a serious stab at Dragonlance, that original story is the best place, even though it's extremely long. And so this is going to be a huge help to you for avoiding what I had to do, which was to translate all these things on the fly. So this is something that's very worthwhile. The Testify Sorcery, I actually did a complete review of this on its own. This is a clever book that you can run as a party. You can run with one player, or you can run solo. And I ran it solo, and I ran it with a player, and both times we just had an absolute blast. One of the kind of iconic things about Kren is that once your wizard reaches a certain level, that wizard is expected to go through the Testify Sorcery to become a full-fledged mage approved by the Tower of High Sorcery. This is a very important thing in Kren, and it's going to shape the rest of your character's existence. If you read the novels, you see what an impact this test makes on people, and how it can make your character go in a completely new direction. Every time that I've seen something about the Test of High Sorcery, whether it's in 1st, 2nd edition, or 3rd edition, it's always been approached in very vague terms, like this needs to be customized for your player. Now here's some general ideas, but you're on your own. This was a really solid way of putting flesh on that test, and actually being something that you can run through on your own. The Testify Sorcery is deadly. I died. My player, I don't know if I should say my player did not. When I ran it with my player, that was for my Dragonlance podcast that I've been doing this year, which is called the Thorns of War, and so you can listen to that or check out the videos if you want kind of an idea of how this runs. But all in all, I was really happy with this particular one. Okay. Now we're going to start getting into things that I have not had a chance to dig into myself, but I'm excited about. Dragonlands Companion is another just source book for the world. The reason I'm putting this on there, because I would have been very content with Dragonlance Nexus's Tasselhoff's book. The reason I'm putting this on here is because the Dragonlance people that I follow and respect speak extremely highly of this book. And so that got it on my radar and makes it something that I really want to dig into. Just haven't had the opportunity to. So if you're looking for something 5th edition that's going to help you out, Tasselhoff's or Dragonlance Companion, either one are going to be that kind of that world source book that's going to help. Next one is one that I've kind of glanced at now, that I'm pumped about. Shadow of the Black Rose can be used as a sequel to Shadow of the Dragon Queen. It is more focused on Dargard Keep and on Lord Soth, who whether you read the novels or you play, if you like been introduced to Dragonlance world through Dragon Queen, you've gotten hints of Lord Soth, one of the coolest Dungeons and Dragons villains ever. Always been one of my favorites, and so this adventure through Dargard is something that caught my eye right away. I bought it right away. I just I'm really looking forward to putting some players through it. Last thing, I told you I would mention it again. Kaz the Minotaur. All right, Kaz was like one of these great old characters from the books, from the novels, and there Richard Knock has written. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's been several Kaz books and stories, and just been one of those really super fun characters. And so, Dragonlance Nexus again is bringing us journals of Kaz the Minotaur. Richard Knock, the creator of Kaz, is doing this book. Check out that cover. Jeff Easley, one of the truly great Dungeons and Dragons artists. Fantastic cover for this book. Going to be a combination of a lot of stuff in here, and I can't wait to dig into this. First of all, there's a new Kaz short story in here. Then there is kind of more a general reference about the Minotaur, about sailing on Kren, and kind of building out some mechanics that if you're gonna play a Minotaur character on Kren, you're gonna need to know. And then there's an adventure, a several part adventure in there that is kind of follow, as I understand it, and I haven't read, kind of following that same short story, but building it out, making some options. I'm really excited about that one. I'm really excited, especially seeing one of the original creators of these great characters coming back to their creation and telling and giving more for a new generation, for a new edition. It's very exciting. And so those are 10 things, 11 if you count the novels themselves, that you can go spend all your money on when it comes to Dragonlance. As I mentioned before, if you are looking for perhaps you got pulled into Dragonlance with Shadows of the Dragon Queen. You don't know where to go next. You don't have a ton of money to buy everything on this list. Dragonlance Chronicles is first. Read the books, and if the world does not grab you through the novels, then Kren is probably not the place for you, and that's fine. You know, different people like different worlds best, but that's going to give you a vision of the fuller world of Kren, and everything that it has to offer, and go from there. If you want to kind of take on more of Soth after going through Dragon Queen, there's that. If you want to take a look at the Minotaurs, because the Minotaurs are super cool, jump over to Kaz. There's a lot of places that you can go from there without going through DM's Guild and buying everything that's available, because there's a lot. I mean, it's been what 30 years or so, and so there's a lot. Really do appreciate you joining me for this one. Dragonlance is actually the thing that got me into Dungeons and Dragons, and so I read those same Chronicles novels. I read those first before I'd ever played Dungeons and Dragons, and that's one of the things that really caught me and drew me in. So thank you again. Please do check out everythingboardgames.com for new for reviews, for news, for more videos. Check out the YouTube page. Click subscribe. Click that bell icon. Anything that y'all have run across, especially modern Dragonlance, that really kind of caught your eye and is good stuff that you think I should check out, throw it in the comments. I'd be happy to. I'm genuinely excited to learn about new Dragonlance stuff, and so if there's anything that I need to take a look at, please do let me know.